So it's Christmas. The kids are in bed. I've got a Magnum of Bordeaux. You've got to stay hydrated when you're making these videos, right? But anyway, let's talk about watches. So 2021, what a year it's been for watches. There have been some great new releases, and I've been trying to pick my top 5, which is actually harder than I thought it would be. Stick around to the end of the video and see what my top pick is of the new releases in 2021. But I don't want this to just be all about me. So while I'm going to tell you what my top picks are, I want to know what yours are in the comments. And if you subscribe and you start your message with "I've subscribed," I'll do my best to reply to you. So let's get into it, and I'm going to start with one of my favourite dive watches of 2021. Tudor have been really knocking it out of the park in 2021. Tudor might be Rolex's sister company, but it's definitely the cooler, more rebellious younger sister, and not afraid to take risks. The Tudor Black Bay ceramic takes a traditional 41mm Black Bay design and reimagines it in ceramic. It's an exceptionally hard-wearing material, and it gives this watch a really super stealthy look. In fact, the only things on this watch that aren't black are the hour markers and the hands. It doesn't even have a lume pip. The other thing that stands this model apart from others in the Black Bay line is that this one features an exhibition case back, so you can see the movement. And what a movement it is. This is the first Tudor model to be METAS certified, which is a standard even beyond COSC. In fact, the Black Bay ceramic is the only METAS certified watch that doesn't say Amiga on the dial. To achieve METAS certification, the movement has to be accurate within 5 seconds a day, as well as being subjected to extreme levels of magnetism, up to 15,000 Gauss. So next up is the Bamford B347. Bamford are best known as a customization house, and used to customize models from Rolex such as the Milgauss or the Daytona. If Rolex's most expensive or exclusive model wasn't expensive or exclusive enough for you, then short of commissioning Rolex to make a one-off piece in the way they do for royalty, you could go to Bamford for a customized Rolex, and it might just scratch that itch. More recently, Bamford have forged official partnerships with Tudor and Zenith. However, they've also started manufacturing their own designs under the Bamford London brand, and the B347 is the latest one of these. It's a monopusher chronograph, which basically means that you start, stop, and reset the chronograph with just one button instead of the usual 2. It uses Sleater SW510 movement, which is a 4K movement with a 62-hour power reserve. The case is 41.5mm, which is perfectly sized in my opinion, and is made from forged carbon. It's a really cool modern material, and you can see the strands of carbon fibre that make a really nice pattern in the case material. The B347 is definitely one of my current favourites, and I'm dying to get my hands on one so I can review it on the channel. So third in my pick of the best watch release of 2021 is the Zenith Chronomastersport. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You might think this is just a rip-off of the Rolex Daytona, with which it shares more than a passing resemblance, with its black ceramic bezel and the 3 subdials. However, when you think about it, nobody accuses the Omega Seamaster of being a rip-off of the Rolex Submariner, just because it's a dive watch with a black ceramic bezel. Arguably, the Rolex Daytona owes quite a lot to Zenith, in the fact that for many years, the Daytona was powered by a Zenith movement. Zenith really is regarded as a master of chronographs, with its El Primero being one of the most iconic chronographs ever. The Chronomastersport is just as technically brilliant. Its El Primero 3600 movement is a 1/10 of a second chronograph, meaning that instead of the chronograph moving around the dial once every 60 seconds, it moves around the dial once every 10 seconds, which allows 1/10 of a second to be measured really accurately using the bezel. This is also a 5 Hz movement, which means it oscillates at 36,000 vibrations per hour, and it still has a 60-hour power reserve. Not only is the movement a technical masterpiece, but it's also beautifully finished too, and as with many Zenith models, you get to see it through the exhibition case back. The only fly in the ointment, in my opinion, is having the date window at 4:30. I love having a date complication on a watch, but this one positioned at 4:30 just seems like a bit of an afterthought. My number 2 is the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Everest Dual Time. The Everest is a follow-up to the Overseas prototype that was created as a special one-off piece for the mountaineer and photographer and Vacheron Constantin ambassador Corey Richards in 2019 for his attempt to climb Everest via a new route. The Overseas Everest Dual Time features a 42.5mm titanium case. It houses Vacheron's in-house 5110 DT2 automatic movement with a second time zone complication, AM/PM indicator and a date function. The bezel ring is stainless steel, and together with the bee-blasted crown and surround to the pusher, there's a really nice mixture of bee-blasted, brushed and stainless elements. The gorgeous grey-blue textured dial is perfectly complemented by the orange hands on the AM/PM indicator and the second time zone function, as well as the orange stitching on the strap. This model was a limited edition of just 150 pieces, priced at around $31,000, and all of them sold out within just hours. So my top pick of new watch release of 2021 is going to be a controversial one. It's from a brand that always offers exceptional value, and in my opinion, this one takes it to another level. With the C60 concept, Christopherward set out to make a horology piece that even people who don't have the words Sultan and Brunei in their names can afford. It uses the brand's light catcher case design, but this time made from grade 2 titanium, because, stainless steel is just far too heavy when you try and lift your arm up to tell the time. It has a fully skeletonized dial, and the movement is Christopherward's proprietary caliber SH21, which was first developed in 2014 as a result of a joint venture between Christopherward and Synergy's Horlogers, which is what the SH refers to. It has 2 mainspring barrels and gives it a power reserve of 120 hours or 5 days, and it's COSC certified too. But while they've used this movement before, this time Christopherward partnered with Armstrong to make the bridges and the base plate that enables you to see the inner workings of the movement, and Chrono to hand polish each movement for more than 6 hours to achieve the kind of finish you'd only find on watches from brands like Chapek and HYT, costing upwards of £20,000 to £30,000. Yet the C60 concept is priced at less than £3,500. Other notable things about this watch are that it's a proper dive watch with a 300-metre water resistance, and it's also a complete loom monster with a loomed outer chapter ring and a 3-dimensional triangle at 12 o'clock that's made from Globalite. This watch was limited just 210 pieces, and I seriously considered getting this watch, but unfortunately considered it for just a bit too long and missed out. But guys, those are my top picks of watch releases of 2021. I'd love to know whether you agree or disagree with them in the comments, or what your favourite watch releases were. Remember, if you subscribe and you start your message with "I've subscribed," I will personally reply to each and every one. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please click like, and I hope you have a very happy, safe and healthy Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you in 2022.